fancy music.
Yeah.
Me checking our page to make sure that we're live now that we have a fancy intro song.
Yeah, I know. You want to go ahead
Hey,
and...
there it goes. Welcome to the Buck and Mike Experience.
Experience sports like you never have before.
Where the buck stops.
And the mic drops.
Bam. All right. Week 3 of live action. Forgive us last week. I had to have a mental health day. I'm not one to hide what was going on, so I needed a little bit of a break to get the life rolling there. But everything's back and rocking now. How's your week going?
This
chair makes me feel so tall.
It's going. It's not my favorite week.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. We got in trouble last week at work. Deserved. So now we're all working what we're supposed to be, dealing with traffic and everything.
No, that's no fun.
But I've been working out in the mornings, or I started working out in the morning today. So it's different, but I feel a lot more energized when going to work. So
it is I've been doing the morning workout thing for a while now. Like Tuesday was the first one I've missed in a while. I was taking care of my sick mama, and but like even that, that's the first time that I was like, man, I'm still up at 5. Like I kind of was ready to go to the gym. Like I probably should have just went to Mesquite and worked out at my other gym, but it is what it is. All right, see, we got someone live here. My thing doesn't tell me who's live anymore.
It shows it on that phone who's live or who's watching this. If you're watching, just comment.
Yeah, put a comment for us so we know you're watching, because we don't know who all is joining, and we're gonna get all that. Don't you do that stupid thing where you cut the screen away again. So we're sharing all the feeds, getting all that fun stuff going here. But yeah, same here though. It was a busy week. I've had some good stuff though. I got an email today from a property that CC'd in my manager that saw the email before I did, thanking me for my great work and tagging their entire company team and everything else. So that was pretty cool. My boss was like, look at you. And I was like, what did I do? Because I hadn't seen it yet. I was so busy that I hadn't gotten to see that all that was happening. So had some cool stuff that's gone on with it. A good work week. Just been busy. Coaching Little League and everything else that on top of that kind of adds to the level of 500 things to do at a time. So, but that said, we'll get the ball rolling. Doesn't like we have anyone just quite.
It's Chris Johnson.
Oh, hey, Big Chris, what's going on, Bubba? Oh, you get it just wise, because then you can see who's watching with you. Sweet. So there he goes.
Hey.
Oh no,
Hey guys.
Hey. Actually, this is gonna be bad. I'm pretty stupid. I'll admit it. One person was watching. Well, who's the only person who's not running the feed that had it up on his camera watching the video?
Yeah, I know. I told
so
you that
I was but I was trying to figure out who's watching, and it was me.
Oh.
So now we have one person watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually have number 1 means Steven. 2 is anybody additional. Yeah. Shows where my brain's at this week.
I mean, it shows we got 2 people. We got 3 going right here, so.
True.
Plus 1 more.
Yeah, but all these don't count because those are all Michael Delaney, and you're Michael Delaney.
Oh,
I'm not. So
I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, we're still learning stuff.
Yeah. See, we'll figure it out someday. But all right. So with that said, Baby Ruth coming out of nowhere. Good stuff right there, though.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Hey, you guys, wouldn't that be the same?
Oh, okay. Yeah. From Goonies. All right. Okay. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's see here. Where do we want to get the ball rolling with on this? Since they're all ball related, do we want to talk about the Pete Rose of basketball? Do we want to get into the football world? Because I know that if I let you talk football at the end, we'll go way too long. I should probably put it at the front.
Yeah.
That way I can tell you, hey, we've got to move on. I want to go to bed tonight. All right. So we'll start off with the pigskin then.
So, yeah, we got a lot going on, especially somewhat local. With Rashee Rice, this dude is, I don't know if he's actually going to do jail time, but he's going to get suspended for
A while.
I would say at least half the season.
I was gonna say
Like this is a big incident.
Now that everything's come to it, basically the only thing.
What's up, Preston?
The only thing different, really, between him and the situation that happened with Ruggs is that everyone's alive in this situation.
Yeah.
But there were still serious.
Well,
injury
no,
and
and
everything.
he also had 10 kilos of weed.
Yeah, I mean it's minor drugs. We don't
It
even
is,
count those.
Yeah, it was a misdemeanor, but you have that with the reckless driving.
Yeah.
Like it's not a big deal, but with all the other stuff, it just kind of adds on to it.
Absolutely.
It's kind of we're going to go ahead and tack that on too type thing.
Yeah. So it'll definitely lead to suspension. Terrible thing for a guy who just came off great numbers as the season went on. Like you'd have to think that upside was coming for him. 3 more years on a rookie deal too. Like
you would think so. One of the things that I did notice that someone brought up was Dane Brugler actually brought up the fact that he had some issues in college. And that's why like a lot of people liked him, but there was some red flags on his behavior in college.
Okay.
And that's why he fell where he did to the Chiefs in the second round.
Okay.
And so now we're kind of seeing that same thing. And then another, I guess you could say local, hook 'em horns. T'Vondre Sweat, right after this, decides he's going to blow 25% over the legal limit.
That was an hour and 45 minutes after he was pulled over, too.
Yeah.
Okay. That means that
they allowed him time.
Yes. If he would have had to blow right away, he probably was even higher.
Yeah. Nick Wagner is on.
Hey, Nick Wagner. It's my softball coach. One of them.
Were they to the Chiefs? No. So something that we actually talked about off air prior to this
meeting.
Was if you actually look to see what the Chiefs have done previously, especially under Reed, they don't take receivers. Last year they had a worse receiving core than they do this year, and they still waited till the second round to take somebody. And at this time they brought in Hollywood Brown, so they actually have someone. So that to me just kind of says that they're going to do the same thing they always do and wait until the second round at least, especially with how deep this class is with receivers in this draft. So there's no reason to do it whenever you can get like an offensive lineman, because your left tackle is now Wanya Morris, who was not good last year, the times that he got to come in. So
yeah, and they're going to do whatever they can to keep Patty up. So.
Yeah, that, and you also gave away LJ Sneed, so you need a starting cornerback. I think you when you have Mahomes, you don't really need to worry about who you have at receiver as long as you have someone there. So I don't see them spending a first round pick on receiver. It's just
honestly the need of players that they have, because they have to get those budget guys because of some of the bigger contracts they've given. I wouldn't be shocked if you see them take their way out of the first round.
Yeah, actually,
move back, get into the second round, see if you can tack a third round pick in there also, and use that draft pick to get your receiver, tackle, and everything else.
My current
mock draft, trade out?
I have Kansas City trading out of the first round.
Oh, you have them trading out with a division rival, though. Bold move, Cotton. Well, so then here we go. Other than the arrested people, though, we have it's just draft. Like we've got
it's
all the rumors.
It's pretty much just draft. Let's see, was Diggs traded? Before?
He was Diggs had not been traded yet.
Okay, so Diggs is
on a new team. The Texans there. I mean, I don't think it moves the needle much because
I think it moves the needle a lot for CJ Stroud and for the offense. Like, maybe not for him, per se, but for the offense itself. Like, it doesn't matter if he's receiver 1. He can be receiver 2 or receiver 3. Like, if that's your receiver 3, you have a really good core.
He's a great receiver 3. He'll probably go in as even receiver 2. I think Nico has to be 1. The way he closed out, the rapport he's built with Stroud, like, that's got to close out the season as your number 1 guy, I think. But, I mean, all things considered, Diggs didn't finish the season well. I think the only thing I like about what they did with Diggs is that they didn't, which I didn't even know you could do this, somehow just voided out his contract and just said, you're a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So he's a little more motivated to try to get paid.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think it was a smart decision because he already has a history of not wanting to be in places. So you have Minnesota. He wanted out of Minnesota. They sent him to Buffalo, and then after a couple years, he was like, I don't want to be here no more. So they shipped him out again. Like, it's better to have someone like him on a 1-year contract where you can go, you don't want to be here? Bye.
And that
And
said,
that's it.
the value of the Bears getting Keenan Allen, who played better football last season than Diggs did, for a 4th-round pick, steal.
Yeah.
Especially now that they're both on 1-year deals. If you got to pick each guy as a 1-year prove-it deal, fuck it, give me Keenan Allen.
I mean, yeah,
So,
I would. Yeah.
Once again, great
he's
move by the
just
Browns. Or the Bears.
A lot better of a route runner, more sure-handed. Just the only problem is he's got a long history of injuries.
He does. He's always been the nagging.
I wouldn't say this is a prove-it year for Nico. I think last year was his step up. So I think we're going to see if he is going to have that next jump to be that number 1 guy, because in a way, yeah, it is a prove it year, but I think last year was him proving that he could be that guy.
Proven that he could be the guy. I wouldn't be shocked by the next message though. I wouldn't be shocked.
I've already said that before.
Yeah. He'll go play his brother.
Yeah.
The only reason he might not is if Dallas is willing to pay, because we're hearing more and more now that Dallas, well, that guy's a little more than we want to pay. So maybe they don't want to pay him, but I would assume it would make sense.
They don't have to pay him that much because he's going to be 32.
Yeah,
he's going to be older, so you're not going to have, or 31 maybe.
He'll be 31. Still, you're going to have to.
Yeah, you're not going to have to pay a 31-year-old receiver that much. Like, you're going to pay his son because it's Stephon Diggs.
And you'll probably give him a 1-year deal anyway.
Unless he doesn't do well in Houston, and you're like, we're not going to give you that much.
Also true, because if he doesn't do good in Houston, where the city we're now, if most with how Cowboy fans talk, most of them are going to say they'd rather Stroud anyway. So if you can't play good with Stroud, you can't play good with Dak. So there's that. Chris, I saw your comment. It's a hilarious thought process. It won't happen.
Not a chance.
I don't see a chance in hell that the city of Kansas City doesn't figure it out and get something figured out. But even if they do leave, Jerry Jones ain't allowing another team in Dallas. I
did hear that there's a small possibility that if they can't, they'll move to Kansas. Because Cheyenne Murdoch, I don't know if he's watched or not. I don't think he is. But he lives there, and so he's kind of in the know of what's going on.
He's one of those fuckers that voted against the stadium.
I think he is.
That's funny.
No, I don't think he actually is. But so basically, there's not a chance for them to move to Dallas. And something that I actually did find out, and I didn't realize until I found this out, the reason the Cowboys don't play in Dallas is because of the mayor. The mayor turned the Cowboys down to build a stadium in Dallas. So the reason why the Cowboys moved from Irving to Arlington and not to downtown Dallas is because the mayor said no.
And now he's trying to get a
And
new
now
team here.
it's a new mayor.
Oh,
But this mayor is like, no, we want a team here. Like, hey, y'all messed up. Your last mayor told the Cowboys no. They wanted to be there, and they said no.
This mayor definitely did say, though, hey, we've already got the Cotton Bowl ready. We'll put whatever we need to renovate. Like, could you imagine? Listen, we've all been to the State Fair, and it's a madhouse on a college football game. Could you imagine leaving the State Fair on a Sunday in October when the fucking Cowboys or insert any NFL team is leaving that stadium? Oh, hell no. Someone's dying.
And of course, Jerry will never let it happen.
Exactly. That's my thought. Jerry doesn't even want him to put a team in San Antonio, and that's 4 hours away.
Exactly.
So, no. Definitely don't think that'll happen. It'd be a fun thought because Dallas is big enough city-wise to hold 2 teams. But if Jerry Jones is alive, he'll make a donation to whatever pot he has to not let that happen.
100%. There's next to zero chance of any other team, professional football team, playing in Dallas.
Yeah, they were talking about it on local radio about what if football could never do it, would any of the other sports be able to do it? And they were like, now that the Rangers have a following, it's like, no, you still don't have enough consistent baseball following. The Mavs don't draw a consistent enough basis. You sure ain't gonna do it in hockey, not in Dallas, for God's sake. No, I think and so
this ain't no hockey town.
No, it's not. There's I know 15 hockey fans, and they're all excited because I guess the Stars I think the Stars are contending for the trophy for the best record in the league.
Didn't know that.
So, but apparently you don't want that. But I'll get that in the hockey notes.
Yeah, we'll get that in a minute. But yeah, so I do have a mock draft that I have to put out by Sunday. It'll be my second to last one. I'm still working on it. Like I've made 30 different changes to it just today alone. And I originally had the Cardinals trading back on my last one. Now I have the Chargers trading back.
I heard the rumor that the Cardinals are wanting 3 first-round picks.
And that's I'm not disagreeing with that because I feel like that's probably what it's going to take. But I would assume the 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick this year, and maybe a second or third next year.
And that's only because you think you can get a quarterback in that spot.
Yeah.
Or, I guess, I don't know. I don't think you're giving up 3 first-round picks for a wide receiver. I don't care
how
elite that prospect is.
No, you're trading up. If you're trading up and giving up that, it's for a quarterback. You're not doing that for a receiver.
A May or a McCarthy saying that McCarthy somehow went to New England because there have been whispers that they like him.
Dude, so I've been hearing a lot of stuff that the person that the Vikings are supposedly going to be drafting is May. But I keep hearing everyone talk about how May is truthfully the second best quarterback in this draft. But everyone loves what Jaden Daniels also brings to the table, and that's why he might actually go ahead of him. But then I've heard Merrill Hodge say that Drake May is the type of quarterback that'll get you fired. There's just all these different things, and I'm just I don't know.
Is it bad that after watching a generational talent at quarterback go number 1, and then the Washington picking second in RG3, the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, who's a mobile guy, I see this comparison with Jaden Daniels, and I'm like, God, I hope that organization doesn't hurt an LSU quarterback.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that, Preston. I think he's the second best.
I agree.
But Jaden does bring that extra part of the game that even though May is a runner, he's nowhere close to what Jaden
I think if May didn't have the thing that I respect about May is the fact that he didn't care about the NIL buy-in, turned down millions of dollars to go places. Had May taken an offer to go to Ohio State or any of those schools that reportedly had offered him money to come play last season, his draft stock would have
He might be over Caleb Williams. He might be. There is a good chance.
Oh, absolutely. Because if he goes to one of those schools and he turns around and puts up those numbers, we remember that we've been talking about Drake May for 2.5 years now.
Yes.
Everything, even when Sam Howell was at North Carolina still, they were saying
they were talking about
he's going to be a really good football player, we think, but Drake May, when he gets here, that's our guy. They loved him. So it's just the fact he played in North Carolina.
Yeah, the product went down this year with him, but it's because he was in North Carolina. Last year, he actually had a decent receiver that
was suspended for half the season.
No. Well, that was this year.
Yeah, this year. That was this year's guy.
Last year with went to the Colts.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I forgot his name.
Preston, what's that kid's name that went to the Colts? Played wide receiver. We drafted him. We both talked about him.
Yeah.
I know you're.
I can't think of it, but So yeah, he was basically the only thing that they had, and they had a good lineman. But once he got drafted, I can actually look it up right here.
I got you. You're good. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Let's see. So it is Josh Downs.
Yeah, that guy, Josh Downs. Told you I'd look it up. I'd find it eventually.
But once he got rid of that, he was just he had to do too much, so he made a lot of plays that were forced. And you could just, when you watched him, you were like, this is not the same as last year. But then you remember, well, he's trying to do too much because he doesn't have enough.
There's no weapons.
So he's just trying. And then the argument against Caleb Williams, which annoys me to no end when they talk about how he can't win. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look at his numbers and look at the defense that he had.
Yeah.
That was giving up all these kind of points. Like, you can't win when your defense is giving up more than what your offense can put out.
The problem is that his coach doesn't care about defense.
Exactly.
He didn't care about defense when he was in Oklahoma. And when he goes to the Big Ten, he's screwed. Like, he should have left USC because he's about to get exposed by real defenses.
Like, it's a crazy thing. Like, there were a few other things while I was working on this mock draft that I actually found out a little bit more about teams that kind of keyed me in on a few players. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk about the Cowboys in a minute, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, I didn't know that wherever Mike Tomlin goes, if he watches a pro day, that's the players that he's going to be drafting. It's Mike Tomlin. Like, Mike Tomlin doesn't go to all the pro days. He sends scouts. But if Mike Tomlin is there, he's looking at someone because he's drafting them.
So who do you go look at?
So the teams that he went and looked at, there were 4 teams, right? Yeah. So he went and looked at the Bulldogs pro day.
Georgia.
Yeah, so Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, and Michigan.
Clemson, Alabama. Okay, that
All
makes
right.
sense.
So what that means is
That they're drafting Bowers.
Bowers is one of them, but Bowers is not available. And then after that, you have Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle, which is a position they need.
Yeah, very true.
And then you have Ladd McConkey, which is kind of a position you need, receiver.
Yeah.
Then you have Bullard, the safety, and then Kamari Lassiter, the cornerback. So Bullard and Lassiter are both people that they can look at in the second round.
Kool-Aid McKinstry also would be an Alabama corner.
Well, I'm on Georgia.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I thought we were talking about just the guys he went and saw. I was like, oh, well, I know that guy.
And then Clemson is Nate Wiggins from the cornerback, and then Rook Ahorhoro. That's his last name. He's defensive tackle, so he's someone that they could be looking at in the second round. Nate Wiggins in the first round. Alabama in the first round. Dallas Turner, Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and then the second round, Chris Braswell. And then Michigan, this is where it gets interesting because you got JJ. Obviously, they're not going to be looking at him because they
did all the quarterback rebuild.
But then you have these are all guys that they can be looking at in the second and third round. Roman Wilson, Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle. Roman Williams is a receiver.
Yeah.
Mike Sainristil, which is a slot corner. And I've been hearing a lot of people talk about they love this dude. Like, so much that the reason why I looked all this up was because there were a few guys that Dane Brugler, his beast came out today, which is his massive write-up list. Every single player, he goes back and tells you what they did in junior high. Like, he goes back and tells you all kinds of stuff about them.
But when that's your job, I guess that makes sense.
And so it's his write-up on all these players, and it's his. Then he puts out his second. I think it's his second to last top 100. It might be his last one. But what I thought was interesting was I made a list of his risers and fallers, and his biggest riser has two. Or actually, there's a few that are pretty high, but Ricky Pearsall, the Florida receiver.
Yes.
So he moved up 33 spots.
Good.
And his last big board, he was ranked 78th, and this time he's ranked 45th. So, like, that's a massive jump.
That is a big jump.
And then you have, after that, you have Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle for Michigan.
Okay.
He went from 66 to 36. And then we got Hayes, Longhorn, Brooks. We got him. He moved up 22 spots from 70 to 48. But the one I wanted to bring up was Sainristil, who went from 60 to 43, 17 spots.
Okay.
And this is a nickel corner. That's all he is. He's 5'9", 160 something pounds.
That's a little motherfucker.
Like, he's little, but he is so good. And he's kind of the Trent McDuffie of this class, like or not Trent McDuffie, Asante Samuel Jr.
Okay.
So just little, and everyone's overlooking him because he's small, and then he ended up going to the NFL and did really good his first year, and he's been okay since. Like, this is the type of guy, you plug him in at slot, he's probably going to be your slot dude forever. Like, the dude is good.
Okay.
And but the biggest faller, we just talked about him, was T'Vondre Sweat.
Which is possibly because of the whole getting arrested thing.
So he went from being ranked as his 33rd player to, which is basically a borderline first rounder, to unranked out of his top 100. And Dane had actually said now he is a 4th round pick at best.
Well, that's what. I mean, we watched, what's his name from the Dolphins? the Dolphins got.
Yeah, Laremy Tunsil.
Tunsil.
Yeah.
We've watched what you screwing up before the draft can do to you, so.
And the biggest drop from a ranking to ranking without being unranked was Tyler Nubin, which is the guy that was basically everyone's safety number 1. He's no longer the safety 1. He went from 41 overall to 68 at a 27 point drop.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since he's from Michigan. Like, Cowboys for some reason love dudes from Michigan.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have a real peculiar thing going on here, because you either need a guard and a center because you're moving Tyler Smith outside to tackle, or you're leaving him at the best position that he should be at as guard and looking at tackle and center. The problem that I'm coming to in the draft right now, with my mock at least, is all the tackles are gone by the time it gets to the Cowboys. So that leaves a center. And everyone has been putting Jackson Powers Johnson as a center to the Cowboys. Okay. He's a popular pick. I messaged you about this. So what I found out was he's not going to be a center at the next level. He's going to end up being a guard. And the reason for that is since 2000, every center that has been drafted in the first round, if they were over 315 pounds, they moved. So there were 14 different centers that were drafted, and 12 of them stayed at the position. The 2 that didn't was Cesar Ruiz, and I forgot the other one.
Saints.
For the Saints, and I forgot who the other one was, but he switched to a tackle.
That's a big switch too. He went all the way outside.
Yeah. And he struggled at tackle. He moved to guard. Okay. So he's played both of them, but it's basically you're not playing center. And then I went ahead and looked at all the players right now that are starting for teams. What center was that big? And what I found was, well, other than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who don't have a center on their actual roster, they're putting a guard there right now, which is Nate Herbig. He's 336 pounds.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it an exception, because technically there's no center. They're just putting him there because they don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's just good putting him.
And then you have the Rams with Steve Avila, who was a guard in college, was a guard last year for the Rams, but because they signed Jonah Jackson, they have no spot for him. So they're like, hey, we'll just throw you in at center and we'll see what happens. So the only 2 players that are over 320 pounds, which Jackson Powers Johnson is 328. So the only 2 players that are over 320 are 330 plus, and they're in that position because they basically just have to be there because they can't put them anywhere else.
Okay.
So now you have a guy that's 328 pounds and a guy that's very similar to him that played nothing but center in college at Alabama, who just got a big paycheck from the Eagles, is Landon Dickerson. He is now the guard for them and got a massive paycheck because he's a really good guard. I feel like Jackson Powers Johnson is that same type of player, and he's, because of his size and the way that and he actually played some guard before he moved to center. So he's got like 500 snaps at left guard. So he's got the history
with
of it.
him at guard, then you're just kicking
Then
Tyler
you're going to
Smith
have to
tackle anyway. Which he's
but then
played
you
it
still,
some.
but you still don't have a center.
True, but
So that's your problem.
yeah, but
But if you kick Tyler out, they got T.J. Bass, who a lot of people feel like can step up and be a decent guard. My thing is you either go for Graham Barton, or you trade down with someone, stay in the first round because you don't want to go too far in the second round and lose out on him.
yeah,
But you trade down and you get Zach Frazier. Because Zach Frazier, to me, is the best center in the draft. It's just he's coming back from a broken leg.
which sounds like a Dallas Cowboy draft pick.
And he is that dude. Like, he is that dude. He is, like, when you talk to people, they're like, yeah, if he didn't have this injury, like, he would be our center one. And because of that injury, like, he's healthy now. Like, he did some stuff at the combine.
Yeah,
Like, he couldn't do all the testing, but he did some stuff.
and I feel like I don't know. On the topic of it is if say they did go Powers. Like I personally, if I'm thinking of my team, there are more dominant edges in the league than there are middle rushers, especially as we're losing guys
Well-
like Aaron Donald in the league.
Well-
like
Do you know who the highest paid position is right now, other than quarterback?
the offensive tackles.
Defensive tackles.
I figured it was offensive tackles.
No. Have you not seen all the defensive tackles that are
That's
getting
true.
paid?
They are getting paid
Yeah.
really well.
Like, they are getting massively paid right now. So the
Yeah.
defensive tackle is, like, the new thing.
well, there's also
Like, getting
some
the
good-
stud defensive tackle, that's what you need.
y'all could
so-
y'all could bring Connor Williams back. He was good for the Dolphins before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Just
And-
saying,
and-
he was actually playing really good before he got hurt.
What's funny is we never played him at center either.
No, they didn't. Like, honestly, I'm shocked by the fact that no one has signed him because he was literally playing at a Pro Bowl level last
see.
season prior to getting hurt.
Let me look at that.
And he's still on the market, it says here.
Yeah. I want to see.
And he's
if-
only 26. Like, we're not talking about an old guy here.
I want to see if there's some like concerns about his injury.
That's a good question. I haven't done much digging into that. I'm just looking at the basis of the fact that he hasn't signed yet says you can get him for a pretty cheap veteran contract in comparison.
Okay, well, so he tore his ACL in December.
Yeah, so he's gonna miss some time.
Yeah,
He's still
so that's
recovering.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you give him a 2-year deal, pay him, backload the contract, and it ain't gonna hurt your books this year. And then if he's healthy this season, boom, he's in your starting lineup by November. I mean,
Oh, and his agent's Rosenhaus too.
so there's the problem. But
So yeah, that's a tough one, especially with the injury coming that late in the season. So
yeah, but I mean,
that-
the guy was playing good football, so
Yeah.
the fact that he's not on a team is a surprise. And when you're Dallas, you already know the guy. You need a center. He's proven he can play the center. You're looking for bargain guys, clearly.
yeah.
Go out, pay the guy, even if you pay him half of a cheap contract for a 1-year deal, try your other guy until he gets healthy. If the other guy plays good, then you don't need him. He's depth. He's a swing offensive guard. He's a center. Like, he can help you out somewhere on the offensive line. You're not
Yeah.
going to
Oh,
stay
yeah.
healthy.
I agree with that.
So, I mean, I don't know. If you're Dallas, a reunion with Connor Williams seems to make sense. If I'm Miami, I don't know why we haven't re-signed him. Like,
Because y'all brought in.
yeah, we brought in some guys.
Yeah, I forgot. Who'd y'all bring in? Let me look.
But I don't actually remember all the names. It's been a while.
Y'all brought in Aaron Brewer from the Titans.
That's
Gave,
right.
gave him a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
No. 3-year deal. 3-year deal.
So,
And John Smith and Benino Jones. And
yeah.
Mhm.
I like the
Some
John
other
Smith
dudes.
one.
All right, so this is what I wanted to bring up, and it's because someone kind of proved me wrong on this in a group, and it made me feel good because I didn't think of this until they brought it up. So, a sleeper team, or a sleeper player for the Seattle Seahawks. Who would you of these guys? I want you if you can look at that.
Yeah, let me see here.
Who is a sleeper guy that you would think is crazy to go to the Seahawks?
Well, they're not taking a receiver because of everything they have there. They've been doing decent with defensive picks, but they couldn't hurt to go young still second. They've got some good young corners, but they couldn't hurt. Cooper? I like the idea of Cooper DeJean.
So Cooper DeJean.
I'm never gonna say his name right now.
Cooper DeJean.
Was that the right name though?
Yes.
Woo!
Exactly. Hey, good job. Good job.
Yeah.
So
Dad's a Seahawk fan. I have to know the roster.
Cooper DeJean. The reason why this is a sleeper pick for them, even though like everyone knows that they need a guard or a center, like they don't even have a left guard
Seattle?
like on the roster.
Connor Williams.
Like they don't even have a left guard on the roster. That's how bad their offensive line is. So the problem though is this is something else that I found out. Let me find my notes here. That John Schneider, that's Tomlin.
Now see how this guy's notes are. That's just on the NFL draft.
Yes.
Just so we're all clear.
Yeah.
Like,
like this is
why we talk it first.
Yeah.
Because I have to cut him off or we'll go all night. Like.
So John Schneider is actually on record. I can see it right now, but he's on record for saying that from previous drafts that guards and centers are overpaid and overdrafted. So the fact that they need a guard and a center, but he doesn't feel like that's an area that should be drafted high, tells me that they may not actually go that area. I still did it
with their love for running the ball. Well, new coaching staff.
Yeah. I did it because I still got Troy Fatanu there because he actually played for the Seahawks now offensive line coach in Washington.
Okay.
So there's a connection there, and I was like, man, I can't do it. Like I had it there. I had Cooper DeJean there, and I was like, I can't do it. I got to do this.
I mean, Snyder's been going with speed in that secondary. Like he's been getting guys like that. Tyreek Woolen is insanely fast for as big as he is.
Their starting safeties right now are Rayshon Jenkins from the Jaguars, and then Julian Love. Those are their safeties.
Which are
replaceable.
Yeah, like if you can get a guy like DeJean who had a great pro day.
Yeah.
He didn't do much combine, but his pro day measurements came in across the board better than some notable names.
So this is why it's a sleeper pick, okay? Okay. Mike McDonald came from the Baltimore Ravens. He was part of that team that drafted Kyle Hamilton at 14.
Correct.
Kyle Hamilton is a nickel cornerback / safety. He used him all over the field.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean does all that stuff.
Cooper DeJean has been compared to Brian Branch, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who cornerback / safety.
Yeah, I know, but nickel, I hate the guy.
Kyle Hamilton. Now there's a need for his position on that Seattle team. Who the head coach just came from defensive coordinator from another team that played with a guy similar to the way that he plays.
To facilitate his skill set. That would be pretty smart.
So
I just
someone brought that up because they put him there, and I was like, that makes no sense. They don't need a nickel corner because they have Mike Jackson and Devin Witherspoon. Like those two flip in and out.
Got Witherspoon and Tyreek Woolen. Like their corners are pretty solid.
And Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson's a solid corner.
Yeah.
So I was like, that makes no sense to get another nickel corner. And then he brought that up, and I was like, well, he also is a safety. And he brought. I was like,
in the past,
you know what?
Seattle
Thank you for that because I didn't think of that.
And Seattle has a past in the past. Like one of the things that we saw them doing with Jamal Adams, and they did prior to Jamal Adams with guys like Cam Chancellor, is they're not scared to send a safety on a blitz.
Yep.
And the speed that DeJean brings, he also showed to have some strength.
He is a sure tackler.
Yeah, like he showed to have good reps at the bench. I believe it was like 18 reps at his bench rep day, which is solid for his position group. Like you send him around the edge, like he stays healthy. He's gonna knock quarterback on his butt. So he plays into the style of things we've seen Seattle do.
So he had 16.
Ooh, I was so close for off the top of my brain.
Yeah. That's impressive.
By
the way, his RAS score is
what is a RAS score?
Relative athletic score.
Okay.
So basically, they Math Bomb on Twitter or on X. He has basically gone back all the way to I think 2000. Every single player in the draft, every single one, and put them in his computer.
Wow.
So every time someone else comes out, they get compared to those stats. What does that mean?
That's
so
awesome.
It comes out and shows you that, okay, this guy for his size and that position, what he did is actually really good.
Yeah.
But the only problem is his nose tackles. Nose tackles still stand out in a bad way. It still shows like a really bad grade. He hasn't figured out how to work that.
How to use the position.
So it's basically just straight up defensive tackle. So nose tackles get put into that even though they run completely different.
Okay.
But yeah, so he actually, like, if you look right there, he has a 9.89 U, which means that it's still not confirmed. There are some numbers that might change.
Okay.
So, but 9.89. It's almost a 10.0.
Yeah, he's supposed to be freakishly athletic, so yeah.
And that's coming back from
why we thought he was our only hope.
Something.
That's why we thought he was our only hope to be a white corner.
Yeah, and he's going to end up being a safety.
And he's going to end up playing, as long as he lines up once at corner, we can claim that. It's as simple as that. We just need go out one time, lock up a guy, boom, he's a corner. As long as the guy doesn't get a catch. If he gets a catch, then we're going to be like, well, we need the next Jason Sehorn.
Right. But other than that, I really don't have too much more. The only other thing football related with this is that the new College Football 25 comes out on July 19th.
It does. I've already told my roommate that he knows I don't play a lot of video games, but I'm like, hey, bro, are we going to have one of those nights where we eat junk food and play video games till 3 a.m. because we took Division II, such and such and made them a national powerhouse? Like, that's what's going to happen. Like, we're going to stay up till 4 in, drinking coffee. Like, I'm way too old for this shit, so probably by 11:30 I'll be like, yeah, we'll play tomorrow morning.
I'll do it on a weekend because, man, with the new actually going to bed on time and stuff, I go to bed at like 9:30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other night I was like, guys, I need to go to bed now. And they were like, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, but 6 o'clock comes early and I gotta work. Like, no, but
I'm at the gym at 5:30.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm awake at 5. So. No, but yeah, the other than that, I mean, football stuff, there hasn't been any changing news. We know that the Packers and Eagles are going to play week 1 in Brazil on a Friday. So we'll get the Thursday opener, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, they just announced that.
Yeah, so we'll get the Thursday opener, which will be the Chiefs versus whoever, because they won a Super Bowl. Then we'll have a Friday game. Then we'll have college football. Then we'll have Sunday football. Then we'll have Monday night football. So the first week of the season, we will have football every day of some variety. Just to
pretty much
throw it out there.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what's going to happen in Christmas because the NFL's putting 2 games on Christmas Day, which is a Wednesday. Then there's a game on Thursday. And then there's a game on Friday. And then there's a game on that Saturday because we're running into it. By the time we get to that Sunday, the Red Zone channel is going to be 5 games. That's not going to be much Red Zone for me. That's ruining my buzz for my Red Zone Sundays. But so it's supposed to be pretty wild. Like, I think somewhere in there they also put in the 2 college playoff games fall in that frame too. So
okay.
That's technically not NFL, but big name.
Josh Allen just re-signed. The Jaguars defensive end.
They extended him, took that 1 year, moved that up there.
Re-signed because he was on the tag.
What else was there? We had Logan Ryan. He retired today.
I need to update my information.
And ex-NFL star Suggs faces 2 charges. That would be Terrell Suggs. Yeah, he's facing charges in Arizona. He was in that show Ballers.
Was he?
The one I watched with The Rock?
Yeah.
He's in it throughout. It's pretty funny.
The other thing is I see this right here and it made me think of the draft again. Rodgers. So the Jets. If y'all like to go and check out mock drafts and stuff, if you see the Jets taking a tackle right now in a mock draft, just close out and don't read the rest of it because Jets are not taking a tackle right now. Like they signed Tyron Smith, and they traded for Morgan Moses, and they brought in John Simpson. Like they have the offensive line set. They're not going to go for a tackle while they're trying to win right now. Like they're going to go for a guy that's going to help them win right now.
Yeah, they're trying to win Super Bowl next year.
Like Tyron Smith, he's an injury concern. But you don't go for a offensive lineman just in case he doesn't make it. Like you do that in round 2 or 3. Like you need to get someone that's going to help right now.
You need him to stay healthy to win like 12 in a row. Yeah. If you can get to the playoffs, you can rest him for a month and then go back and play in the playoffs.
Yeah. And they have a guy
that would have their roster. Mike Williams,
Warren something, but they apparently feel like he can He's the swing tackle when they feel like he can
Hold the
be
job.
that guy.
Well, that's good. Well, I mean,
So
not
they
really,
have
'cause
someone.
it's a division rival. Screw the
Yeah.
Jets. But the Dolphins are going to suck next year anyway. So, which is okay. We haven't paid Tua yet, and I'd rather him suck next year.
Caleb Williams is still trash. That is all. Tyler Lambright.
Oh. No, but
Maybe.
that said, we'll move on here. We are in the stretch run of the NBA season here. Peak stretch run. We've got 4 or 5 games left. I think the Mavs actually clinched a top 6 spot last night, so the Mavs can no longer are able to be in the play-in tournament. They are officially a true playoff team, along with Minnesota and Denver, who play each other tonight. They are tied for the 1 seed, and they play each other tonight with like 3 or 4 games left in the season to take over first place overall in the East, in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's still a game back. Clippers are 4 back. Dallas is 6 back. They're the 5 seed right now.
Yeah, they're winning right now.
And Dallas is up right now. Most signs point to Dallas playing the Clippers in the first round, which Dallas fans will love that because they hate the Clippers. I dislike large facets of the Clippers, but I love Russ.
Other than one?
So, there's only one guy that I just genuinely love. The Pelicans, I don't think it's talked about enough. Like, we crap on Zion a lot. Like, a lot.
And
Like,
it's because we rarely get to see him.
exactly. But now we look at the fact that he's played all season. He's lost 30 pounds in the process of this season. And look how good they are when he plays.
Yeah.
They are 15 games over 500 when he plays basketball. Their wins and losses when he was playing in past seasons were that good. Like, I hate that you had to pay the guy because he was injured throughout, but then it makes sense. Like, you realize you win games.
Yeah. He's
So,
a good player. It's
yeah.
just,
But Phoenix is holding on at the 7 seed. Phoenix is playing the Clippers tonight, but the Clippers are benching like everyone. No Kawhi, no Paul George, no James Harden. They said, we're already in the 6 seeds. We don't care. We're going to play someone. So Phoenix is trying to work their way out of the play-in tournament because they're the 7 right now. Right now, Phoenix would play the Golden State Warriors. Sacramento would play the Lakers. And that would be to help figure out how we're going to get who the 7 and the 8 seed are. So, just so we know,
okay.
the Warriors are, 9 games over 500, and they're the 10 seed. The 10 seed in the East is the Hawks, and they're 9 games below 500, and they clinched their spot a while ago because Brooklyn is 5 games worse than them. So, like, that just tells you that, like, the play-in tournament's cool in the Western Conference right now because you've got teams that are fighting and that are close.
Yeah.
In the Eastern Conference, we should just tell Miami and Philadelphia, y'all are the 7 and the 8. Miami's the 8 seed right now. They're 44 and 35. That's a solid record. That's above 500 team.
Yeah.
The Bulls are 37 and 42. They don't even deserve a chance to play in a game. And at the end of the day, it's a 1-game play-in when you're doing these play-in games. And the problem with that is anything can happen in one night. Like, one night they have a bad break. A 7-game series tells the full story. So, yeah, we get that. But you're kind of, like the Bulls have some decent players. They've got Zach LaVine. They've got DeMar DeRozan. Like, these are guys that can just fuck around one night, have a good game, and boom. Now a deserving team like Miami's not in the playoffs because of a freak occurrence. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's pluses and minuses of it, but the rest of the East is still super close because the only team that's actually clinched a playoff spot, when I say playoff spot, I mean not in the play-in, besides Boston, who ran away with everything, is Milwaukee, which they just said they're sitting Giannis for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And they're not locked into the 2 seed. They're sitting 1 game up on the Knicks, who are without Julius Randle for the rest of the season.
Oh.
So that hurts them. They're literally depending on the fact that they traded for OG Anunoby. He got hurt. Julius Randle's been hurt. Jalen Brunson has literally carried that team to a 3 seed. Like, good job. Orlando's looking really good with that young core, but they're very similar to Oklahoma, where it looks like they're a year early. So some of these teams like Cleveland, who have more veterans on the team, Philadelphia, Miami, like you probably want Orlando. You want to make the young kids play in the big game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like first round. Philadelphia.
Paolo
Well, the only
Banchero.
reason Philadelphia's down there is they were without Joel Embiid for a while, who's MVP caliber player before he got hurt. So that'll make a big difference there. The MVP voting is going to be a fun race. Most people think it's going to go to Joker again. I don't see how it can't. I mean, it should have gone to him last year. Like,
It should.
but it's very similar to that stretch of time where we used to joke around. Like, there's windows where we said guys like LeBron, Jordan, like they all have had where they were the MVP every single season and they didn't get it.
Well, I mean, Jordan gets
Kobe had a year where he should have got it, and Steve Nash. He didn't get all of his. He only won 4 or 5.
Who?
Michael. Only won 4 or 5 MVPs. It's not. LeBron's got 4. It's not that different. He got 6 NBA championships. He didn't win but 4 or 5 MVPs. I don't think he won like 13 scoring titles or defensive player of the years and stuff like that. But I don't think he was.
I just want you to see this because I don't want to say anything.
I might be wrong, but I thought he'd only won like 5. How many is it? League MVP, 5-time MVP. That's it. I was saying I was right, but no, like the NBA has a tendency to want to spread the love with that award. I think they get tired of giving it to the same guy because they're like the same guy does this. So that'll be interesting though. We'll see how that kind of plays out, the voting process there. It's really going to be a push for the race though. The playoff lineup's looking good. You've got some teams doing things. The East has a lot of young teams. Like Indiana has a lot of young guys on their team, but they do have a veteran coach and a former Dallas Maverick coach.
Yeah.
So that would be a piece there. Cavaliers have some guys that are solid and been around a while, but they just are inconsistent. And I personally am not a huge fan of
I
Donovan
totally forgot
Mitchell.
Siakam's there now.
Yeah, they traded for Pascal Siakam. The Indiana Pacers did. I'm going to blank on their name now. Donovan Mitchell is a Cleveland Cavalier, and I'm just not a big Donovan Mitchell guy. Like, he can't guard anything. That's why he got out of Utah.
Yeah.
Like, they were instantly... Like, their team is not better right now because he's gone, but they also got rid of him and Gobert at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, they went for a full restart, and they did well last season. They stepped back this season. So, it'll be a fun race overall. Like I said, I believe the schedule has... Today's the 10th. I think the last day of the season is the 15th. Nope, the 14th. Friday the 12th. Yeah, Friday the 12th is the last full day of the NBA season, and almost everybody plays that night. Nope, Sunday, April 14th. That's what it is. Apparently, there's a Saturday where no one plays, and then the season ends. That's just weird. Why would you have a whole day where no one plays? Look at that.
Day.
On April the 12th, the whole league plays. They gave the entire league off April the 13th, and then everybody plays again on April 14th.
What is it?
We would crucify baseball if they just randomly gave everyone a day off. not during an All-Star break. But so Sunday the 14th finishes the season. That's 4 days from now. So like I said, you don't have a lot of games left to close out this season. And then you go into playoffs and play-in tournaments and all that. So that'll be a fun close down. Other NBA news would be a couple things here. One, Ja Morant. Did you hear about him punching the kid playing basketball, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The judge in Tennessee ruled that self-defense. Good to know the next time someone clamps me up at the gym, I can punch him in the mouth. Judge, it was self-defense. You set a bad precedent right there, sir. So we're clear. Other hard court news would be, let's see here.
So that's
I had another one. Yep. Oh, couple of things I can give you. One is going to be NBA related. Yeah, this weekend is the end of the NBA season. And then we go into the play-in and all that. Sad news from the NBA would be Nate Robinson is dying.
Really?
Former dunk contest champion. Yeah, he needs a kidney transplant. It's bad. Like, without a transplant, he could go any day now. So,
man,
dude was a hell of a dunker. Dude could fly.
Dude, Logan Paul messed him up.
Right? That's horrible, but it is true. This last thing he did play in they did that in the AFL contest when they did the pros versus Joe's team. He was on the pros team that lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was one of the guys that they got to come play for the pros team. Other NBA NBA/basketball, because I will slide into some other basketball things here. Oh, the last NBA one is that we're about to have the Pete Rose of basketball. If you've never heard of Jonte Porter, you will never hear of him again. Jonte Porter, now remember, Pete Rose got banned because he was betting for his team to win every game. So it's kind of like, yeah, you shouldn't do that, but at least you're not trying to lose or you're not trying to cover the spread. You know, like, you're trying to win. That's all you care about. Jonte Porter was betting himself to hit the under. He had a night, they said, where he was projected to get 1.5 rebounds or something silly. He got 1 and then proceeded to get 3 fouls in a row and get ejected or something. Like, he wasn't even good at hiding that he was trying to sell this job. So
Good Lord.
sounds like he's about to be given an official ban. Like, that's what it sounds like Adam Silver's going to say. Other hard court related would be, we just had the NCAA championships. Caitlin Clark could not bring it home, so she will go down as the all-time scoring champion, but not an NCAA champion, as South Carolina, which is going to be dominant next year, too, because they keep that entire starting lineup. I think one person on that team goes pro next year.
It does suck for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark did not get her championship.
On a bad team, she's the Drake May of
yes,
college.
because honestly, watching the like, I watched them play LSU and I watched them play South Carolina, and I watched against South Carolina multiple missed layups, missed wide open jumpers. Like, she was setting up. Now against LSU, she started slow, but she closed out strong. But against Iowa, like, she hung 18 points in the first quarter of South Carolina, and then after that, South Carolina was like, no, literally, put 3 people on her, make the other players beat us, and nobody else could. No one ever did anything that just screamed, help take the pressure off Caitlin. And she still hung 30. So, and then that's directly affecting the WNBA, because all signs point that she'll be the first pick in their draft next week. Because, you know, their draft is literally a week after the season.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy quick,
That's
and then
crazy.
like 3 weeks is like the start of the WNBA season. Like, they don't have a time off.
Wow.
Like, it's just like, women go play. Now, their women's season's only like 36 games, but or it's 40 games. And because of the 40 games, 36 games at the Indiana Fever, the team expecting to draft Caitlin Clark number 1, 36 of their 40 games are on national television now. Because the WNBA realizes that even though people like Diana Taurasi, who are... Here's my issue. Maybe I'm high-horsing it here. Men's players, when we watch guys go pro, how often do you hear, like, outside of the Caleb Williams, we had one person make a comment about him coming to play Hollywood ball, but for the most part,
it's going to be his teammate.
Yeah, all we hear from people when a kid's coming out of college as a high-end prospect is, oh, I hope he does great. Like, I want to see success. Good luck to him. Why are all these women shitting on Caitlin Clark? Diana Taurasi came out and was like, she's in for the real world soon, and then another chick's like, she won't play. Like, y'all, your league is ass. Like, you need her to bring help.
A woman's biggest critic is another woman.
Bro.
They're so mean to each other.
I'm saying, and they hold grudges, but like
even, who was it, the former scoring champion?
Yes.
Came out dogging on Caitlin because in my time, I'm still the scoring leader because in my time, we didn't have a 3-point shot.
Yes, they did.
No one cares. The game changed.
Yeah, and
like, LeBron has more points than everyone else, and he has a lot more 3-pointers than everyone else, but he's still the leader.
Yes. The other thing that
we're going to add that into it, but we're not going to take away from what he's done.
And in all honesty, like, don't get me wrong, Caitlin Clark's an amazing scorer. But even winning one championship wouldn't have made her the greatest of all time because Sabrina Asakone won 4 of them motherfuckers and was scoring it like crazy. So, sorry, she's the best player anyway. And
it's crazy.
No, but it's crazy. Like, thankfully, you had the coach for South Carolina, whose name is slipping me now. She was in an episode of the TV show Martin.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in an episode of that with Team USA Basketball.
Oh, you know what? Yes.
She,
oh, man.
I can't find her now, but Dawn Staley.
There you go.
Yeah, Dawn Staley she came out and had some really good comments about her, so, like, that was some good talk for her, for them. But, like, I just feel like the women's game really needs to figure out to embrace this because they need her. Like, they need Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to come be mega name stars, and they really need them to play good. I'm not saying let them play good. Your job is to clamp them up, but
that next group needs to come in.
You've got to do something because they are making the game fun. Like, I actually enjoyed watching them play. I'll say the space and play game that we watch the NBA gameplay is entertaining to watch. It's entertaining to watch when the women play it that way too, because at that point it becomes basketball. When you're watching women's basketball though, and like Zach Edey is fun to watch in the post because he's 7'4" and he's dominating. But when Brittany Griner's down there dominating girls that are 5 feet or 7 inches shorter than her, that's not entertaining because there's no one to hold the physical side of it with her.
Right.
And that was half of the WNBA battle half the time. That and fast break layups. But
yeah.
But
it is crazy that's where like the WNBA right now is where the NBA was.
I would say it was right there when Magic and Larry saved the game.
Yeah.
They brought the transition.
Like, it was there.
They're getting
no
that kind of rivalry
enough.
too.
Yeah.
Like the Clark and Angel Reese rivalry is going to come to the WNBA just like Magic and Larry came to the NBA.
Yep.
Like, you should be piggybacking off of that. The league's doing it. The players aren't.
Yep.
And you're the ones that want more money.
Like it's like, to me, it's kind of like think about it in the terms of wrestling, where you have the old generation going out. The old generation is still there, but the old generation has been helping groom the new generation because once they're out, they have to take over the company and let that company run.
Exactly.
Like Taurasi, you need to learn. You're about to be gone.
Yeah.
You have to let this next group come in.
You're an amazing player.
And take over, and you can sit back and go, I helped build that.
Yes.
Now look at it going even further.
And you watch NBA stars like Steph and LeBron and all these guys talk about, look at Anthony Edwards. Look what he's doing for our game. Look at Shea Gilgeous. Like, look at all these. Like, they are constantly bragging on these guys and how much they love what they do.
Stories about them calling Kobe and him giving them advice.
Yes.
And I'm sure it happens with some other players that are still playing.
And it happens in the WNBA, I'm sure, too. I'm not saying everyone's like this, but
it's so vocal.
Yes, and when the name that is the biggest star, like for the first time ever, you might get people to watch the WNBA draft even, is about to happen, and you're just like, no, we don't love it. It's like, bro, y'all are stupid. Yeah. So,
it's a weird thing to not to do.
The last hardcore news I'll give is we had a couple of ones. This stays in the college world. Is also we saw Purdue win the national championship.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, Purdue lost the national championship, right?
Oh yeah. Purdue lost.
UConn goes back to back. Hurley's the more successful Hurley in the family now, because. But Purdue, Zach Edey will be nothing in the NBA.
Wait, that's not the same one?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, I thought that was.
Their dad was a coach. Bobby is a coach.
I thought that's who that was.
Dan's the coach. Bobby was the one that played for Duke.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Bobby.
So, no, yeah.
I saw Hurley and I was like, oh, look at him.
No. And so then Zach Edey, what you saw from his amazing play in the national championship and all playoff run, he scored like 178 points in the 6 NCAA tournament games. Like, it's insanely how good he was. He'll be nothing in the NBA because the league's too fast for him.
Yeah.
I love his conditioning, though. He sat out only 33 seconds in the Elite Eight and the Final Four.
I saw that.
Like, that's insane.
That's
the endurance, he's 300 pounds and 7'4". Like, my God. You're just slow as shit.
He's a old school.
Yes, he would have been a great 80s, 90s basketball player.
90s for sure.
Yes, like he'd have been great there. The other couple of rooms is now you're getting into transfer portals. Don't take any stake in any pre-college basketball polls because everyone's going to change teams. All these way too early top 25s that come out for NCAA, anything, baseball, basketball, football, everyone's transferring in the transfer portal now. They're about to open up a transfer portal that allows them to play the next season even for some of these guys that had to do a sit-out rule. Hell, there's a super league in talks now for high school prep schools to basically incorporate making the top high school athletes get more notoriety, as if it's not getting enough of it. So that's coming. The the notable one that we saw was Bronny going into the transfer portal. That one's been talked
Yeah.
about. Then he went to the NBA draft. Let's make this clear because Isaiah Collier, his teammate in USC, did the same thing. Going to the draft in the NBA is not like going to the draft in the NFL.
Yeah, because you get the
You can change your
Yeah.
mind. You can go do the combine, and then they can say, honestly, you're probably a second-round pick. And honestly, if you're a second-round pick and an American player, go back to college because most of the teams are going to take some 16-year-old Euro kid that they can't have for 3 years because then they have his rights. It happens all the time. So just go back to college. What will end up happening is he only went to USC probably because his daddy wanted him close to home.
Yeah.
I think it was. He wanted to be able to, and I think the best thing for him is he needs to go to a program that if he wants to be around a winning culture, go to one, that's fine, but you need to go somewhere that you can play your game because he is a good facilitator. He is a good, strictly basketball, he's a damn good defender, a lot of people say. He's got to work on his scoring game, consistency. He can shoot a catch-and-shoot three. He doesn't create enough off the dribble as a guard. He's only 6'3". Mind you, his brother Bryce is already 6'6" at 15. Bryce is going to be the better Bron James' son anyway. So, I wouldn't be shocked if you see him go to a Duke where they're about to load up with a bunch of young freshmen and then he could go fit in as I've been here a little bit, I got some. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to, the other breaking news, Arkansas. Coach Cal.
Oh, yeah.
Because Coach Cal has a history of helping breed these guards to get to the next level. Coach Cal left Kentucky.
That's a shock.
Yes. No, here's the crazy shock, and I don't know if I can find it. I shared it on our page, but the connection to Coach Cal of how he got to the Arkansas job is insane. If I can find it on our page here, because I know that I shared it. Or that I read it, but basically, Coach Cal ends up at Arkansas after Arkansas's coach ends up going to USC, after USC's coach ends up going to SMU, and then it all turns out that the guy at the top of that ring, he worked at all of those schools and knew Coach Cal. So there's this one guy that they think helped ringlead the institute that opened up the job opening, basically, for Coach Cal to go to Arkansas. And, Arkansas has already said that they're going to have a massive NIL pool to put money into so that they can focus on building up their basketball program because they know their football program will never be anything more than a 6-win program. So, I don't think I have anything else basketball. Other than that, I would say we slide on over to the Diamond, and that'll about.
Yeah.
I'll tell you hockey talk. Like we said, the Stars have the best record in the league, or one of them. But apparently, you don't want to win it because if you have the most points in hockey, you get a trophy called the President's Trophy. Apparently, the last team to win the Stanley Cup and the President's Trophy was the New York Rangers 20 years ago. Which the New York Rangers are who the Stars are fighting with for the best record and that trophy. So a lot of people are a lot of Rangers fans are apparently go win that trophy. It means we'll win a title. So there's that.
Yeah, they're 1 point down from the Rangers, 110-109.
So they're fighting out for the best record in the overall President's Cup league.
Wow.
Baseball wise, Mike Trout continues to drop out some crazy sad stats. He's already hit 6 home runs this season, and 5 of them were solos. At one point, he was on pace to hit 40 home runs and 40 RBIs. I want to say. It was shared on a different Facebook page, and I didn't get to share it to our page. But Mike Trout's home runs in his career, he's hit almost 400 home runs. I mean, he's been playing a while now. See if I can find this notification. Where do you find notifications when you're actually on Facebook?
I don't. Oh, the little bell.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, me and Belkis, who y'all all met last week, actually, were back and forthing about Mike Trout here. All right. Mike Trout has a career WAR of 85, and if you take him off, imagine how bad that would be. I'm starting to more and more. I'm looking at Mike Trout's career. The more I'm starting to realize that I think the Angels are the worst ran organization in all of sports.
Really?
Seriously, you've had the best player in the sport, and then you had the second best player in the sport, and you could not win.
Well, that's true.
Ever, and then you consistently gave contracts to guys. Josh Hamilton was showing signs of regression. Justin Upton showing signs of regression. Anthony Rendon showing signs of regression. You consistently gave these guys massive-ass contracts that have done nothing for you. Nothing. The Angels, or the A's, they're not the worst ran organization in sports. Their owner knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. He wants to suck. He wants to get out. He doesn't want you to come watch them play. Like, he's doing everything that he wants to do. It's not bad. He's just an asshole. I mean, the Browns, they are at least trying to win. Like when we talk about awful organizations, we always go to the Browns. Like, you can't give them crap for trying to get quarterbacks. They just suck at picking them.
That's true.
Like, and then they thought Deshaun Watson, he's proven he can do it. And they paid him a ton of money, and he just never, well, not yet. He has not yet to recover to being the guy that they hoped he would be. Like, but we consistently think of awful organizations in sports, and then I look at the Angels, and I'm going, they've only won one playoff game with the best player arguably in the last 15 or 10 years. And at one point, they had the two of the best generational talents in the sport, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. In a league that's expanded the wild card.
That's
Like,
a good point.
like they've never put anything good support-wise, excluding Shohei, around him. And even Shohei battled injuries while he was with the Angels. He was only had 2 seasons where he actually did everything the whole time. And even one of them, he was injured the second half of it. But there was the number was Trout's hit 367 career home runs, I believe it is. 230 of them are solos. That's almost 2/3 of his career home runs. Like, you can't.
That's a lot.
And he's hit 2, and I definitely shared it on our page, or I know I said something about it because the stat was that only person who hit more than him was Alfonso Soriano.
Well, hey, former
What?
Ranger.
Yes. What position in the batting order did Alfonso Soriano spend majority of his time batting
Leadoff.
in? He was a leadoff hitter. Here it is. 235 of 373. 63% of his career home runs. The only person with more, the only person close, is Soriano, who hit 700, who had 249 of them at 412, and he batted leadoff. Like, it's amazing how poor the team is. Like, it's awful. And then you turn around and had an event the other day in MLB where there's actually a kid on the Angels who had like a 60-game reach base streak dating back to last season as a rookie. He had yet to not reach base. Major League Baseball, 9 days after the fact, changed the ruling on one of his hits to not a hit and broke his streak. All right, timeout. If we're going to do that, then let's go back 600 days and give Armando Gallardo his fucking perfect game, because we all know the ump blew the call.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just going to go change
Why
things.
did they change it?
Apparently, they ended up ruling it that it was an error based off the ball not being hit hard enough into the play style. I don't remember how the glove was touched. I didn't even see the play. But I
Good
just,
Lord.
like, guys, people were ranting because it happened days after the fact. The other news, though, is Jackson Holiday got the call.
Yeah.
So he is officially, he's starting tonight, playing second base for the Orioles, who are winning right now. Why don't we see if he had his first career hit? I don't think he did, right? I got a notification.
Yeah, I would have
No,
got a notification.
he is 0 for 4 with an RBI.
Okay.
They are winning 7-5.
So we'll call it over 3.
Depends on how he got the RBI. Yeah. Nope. He got an RBI on a ground out, so that does not count as a sacrifice.
Never mind then.
That is 0 for 4. But honestly, I'm really surprised they brought him up to play second base. But because they have a guy at third, they haven't really locked in a true third baseman, and they could just move Gunnar Henderson to third and let him be their shortstop. But they brought him up to play second base for now. So I don't know. It'll be. I mean, the Orioles are 6-4. The Rangers bullpen is still trash. The Rangers are the exact same team as last year, except they have a younger
Scherzer
outfield.
might be coming back sooner than expected.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
At 39 years old and back issues, it's a good thing to come back early?
Yep.
Only if he's healthy. Scherzer, they say, has such a fire to play, though, that in the past he's over-pushed himself and caused these issues to reoccur.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because
I
of
mean,
that. Now, he still has the coolest eyes in
dudes just
sports,
love
but...
Dudes that love to play, man. It's
Oh, absolutely. Like, he wants to play. Like, I don't
Yeah.
fault it, but
it's hard to, just like how Aaron Rodgers last year was trying to push back to get to come back.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, just don't come back. Like, wait till next year. It's over. Like,
Yeah. And then you had a fun one today where both Josh Naylor and his little brother Bo Naylor, who are both Cleveland Indians, Guardians,
okay.
they both hit home runs in the same inning.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's probably the only time it's ever happened.
Yeah, probably the only time you've had two brothers hit home runs in the same inning. So Rangers are up right now, though. Looking at it, they need it. They're playing the A's. Yamamoto has figured it out. His last two starts have looked better, but he's not going to be the best pitcher that came out of Asia because Shomatunga Imunga, the guy. Yes, I think that's actually how it's said.
Okay.
The Cubs rookie, stud. Kid's
Cubs
thrown
rookie.
10 scoreless innings to start, and the only reason it's not more than that is because there was a rain delay against the Dodgers when he was dealing against them, and the rain delay pulled him out of the game.
What day was that?
3 or 4 days ago?
Monday?
I want to say yes, because the Cubs ended up winning the game.
So let's look at that. Cubs against Padres?
Yeah.
Padres won that game.
No,
on
Cubs
Monday.
Dodgers. It was against the
Cubs,
Dodgers. 'Cause
Dodgers.
I want to say they lost. No, they won the game because Yamamoto pitched, and so it was Sunday. They won 8-1. The game got shortened due to rain, but he had pitched 4 innings of shutout ball before the rain delay came through. Shota Imanga. His current ERA is 0. He's 1-0 with 12 Ks and a .4 WHIP in 2 starts.
Dang.
Yeah. Now, like I said, one of his starts was shortened because of the rain. He last pitched on Sunday, so he should pitch tomorrow or the next day, Wednesday or Friday, Thursday or Friday. So he'll be pitching here pretty quick. Yeah, that dude's a stud. Watch out for him. Yamamoto has one of those very quick releases. Like he's right this. He goes from stretch to boom. Like he doesn't just Steve. Imunga has some of that deceptiveness going on where the ball looks like it's coming faster than it really is and all that stuff. He's fun to watch. I was kind of bummed because he originally was going to be their 3rd starter and they moved him back to 4th. I thought I was going to get to see him pitch in Arlington. And then they moved him to 4 starter. I was like, damn it.
See, there's the greatest pitch of all time is still, or let me say that back. The greatest pitching stance or
Okay.
pitching style.
Release.
Hideo Nomo.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I
Always-
always loved that.
I still like watching Craig Kimbrell pitch because he does that weird thing where he holds his arm like that. I don't know why, but I'm like, it's interesting.
That's one of those things where you pretend that you're bigger than the animal in front of you.
Yeah,
It's
like
terrible.
he's just like, ah. And then what was another one? Jonathan Papelbon was always funny because he would make weird faces at the batter, like. So
trying to cycle him out.
yeah, like, and then he came in to ship it off to Boston while he was playing for them, so that would always made it fun too. We've already had a couple of guys down for the season too. Yon Makeda's out for the season.
Already?
Yeah, he's out 3 to 6 months. They said he could come back, but most people think he won't. Spencer Strider, the 2 favorites.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the 2 favorites for
Strider.
AL and NL Cy Young, the betting line favorites both go down on the same day for the season. That's huge. And it's a lot of people are saying it's because of the shortening of the pitch clock again.
Well, so
But they haven't proved it. There's
who
not enough
was it?
data to prove that that's the case.
I forgot who it was. Someone came out and they were talking about that. They feel like, and I can see the argument for it because there's, I don't know, high pressure situation, and you don't have time to like get control of your body, and you're just having to go.
Yeah.
Just having to go. There's no time to break. Like, I do feel like it is a good but also bad thing.
Yes.
Because you are forcing these pitchers to not have time to give the arm just a little bit of rest. It's like,
And
all
we're-
right, it's time to go.
Yep,
It's time
and
to
we're
go.
doing that in an era where we're not picking pitchers anymore. We're picking throwers.
Yeah.
Like, we want guys that just... Guys like Greg Maddux could have pitched on a pitch clock all day because he never threw more than 92 miles an hour anyway. Like, he was
Yep.
just going to tempt Tom Glavine could have done it, like any of those guys. But now that most of your guys across the league are... this guy could throw 99. Like, he's got to be a stud someday. Like, we're going to...
What's your best pitch,
Boom,
Forsley?
boom. Oh, is it? All right. So that is going to
A
be...
97-mile-an-hour curveball?
Yeah, so there's going to be some... I wouldn't be shocked if we keep seeing those issues overall. Other than that...
I also heard someone talk about how a lot of the issue is the traveling baseball when you're young. Like,
I've seen that too.
it wasn't a thing, before, and maybe that was the difference in why players were actually playing longer, because they didn't have to do it at such a young age, at such a high level.
Like, I have some friends that do it, and I've had to talk with them. Like, I'm pretty firm on it. My kids didn't end up grabbing the sports in that way. Not my son, at least. My daughter's still young. She might. But I've said about plenty of them that you not only do they have to play multiple sports, but they need to take breaks from the sport, because I don't see how can we talk about LeBron's legs because of all the minutes he's played in the NBA, for an example, but never consider all the minutes he played as an AAU player, a high school player. Like, all those minutes were logged on those same legs. It was just that he was 12, so they're not a big deal. Well, no. 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, you still have to recover. Like, your body still needs that time. So I'm a big advocate of play every sport. I love the guys that play multiple sports in high school. I love the guys that think that if they're capable of maintaining playing at a high level and they want to try to play it in college, go play it.
Yeah.
Play every sport. Let your body work on it. And we've seen how that helps people.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me that Patrick Mahomes can't make some of the throws he can make because he played baseball. Because you watch him drop that arm angle.
It's a very
shortstop.
baseball.
Yes. Baseball playing arm actions come into his quarterback style throws. And so, no, I think it's a consistency. How many receivers and tight ends have we seen that play basketball because they can jump through a gym?
Back to the quarterback, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. Like Kyler Murray. Like, all these guys play multiple sports.
Did you see the stat about the Oakland A's that drafted, like, the Oakland A's would have the greatest quarterback room of all time if they got all the guys they drafted? Like, there was this crazy stat where they've drafted like 18 guys that went on to play NFL quarterback that could have all been pitchers in their system.
Jesus.
Like, but maybe that's an example. That's an example of the owner not wanting guys to come play on his team. Like, it just proves he was trying not to. But no. But all right. Well, I don't really have a ton other. There's not a lot of. Nothing new in the soccer world yet, right? I brought it up already. We've got the Rookie of the Year stats posted on our page. It's Wemby's award. Hell, I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, too.
He might.
He damn well should. He's got more blocks than half the damn league and any of the other guys that have done it, along with a steal and a half a night. He's damn good. They get the rest of that help around him. Pop's going to coach till he dies because he's got that.
Yeah,
I would die on the bench. I would be like, you got this, Vic?
You go from generational talent of David Robinson to generational talent of Tim Duncan.
Like,
then
you just
you
had
go
a
to
dark
generational talent of Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, like he
Like,
had a
what
dark.
the heck, man?
He had that little dark window where he didn't have anyone after they didn't re-sign Kawhi because Kawhi was smart.
His 3 bad years.
Yeah, like he had 3 seasons of like, hey, we got to build.
It was like, all right, yeah, we got to get you back, dude.
Yeah, like
we're sorry about that.
We're sorry that we couldn't help you make sure that you had one of the best players of all time to coach. Does that hurt his coaching stance as one of the greatest coaches of all time? Because he didn't actually have David Robinson long, did he? How long did he coach Robinson? I know he coached the other big 3, which it's okay to have a big 3 if you built it generically from the draft, because that's what the Spurs had the whole time. Between Parker, Mono, and they had other trickled-in guys in there too, Bruce Bowens and things like that.
Pop was there from '96, so he only had David Robinson for like 3 years.
Yeah, so he had the end of David Robinson. So, all right, well, that about sums it up. That puts us pretty good there.
Other
Did you
thing,
have one other nugget in there?
Let me David Robinson real quick. Fallout is on Prime today.
What's that? TV show?
Yes. You ever played the video game Fallout?
No.
Never been a big dystopian game. It's so good. But the TV show is out. I'm gonna go home and watch it.
Nice.
It looks like it's gonna be really good. Man, I put in Robinson and put in David Robinson. Robinson. I can't remember. 96. I know this year Kobe came in. So 96. No. He had David Robinson for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay, so he had him for a good chunk of time. Yeah. End of his career, but still a good time. And then he ended up bringing in Duncan to go with
Duncan during that time.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
All right.
Shogun, watch Shogun.
Peace.